There was a time when Nigeria had more food than it could consume. Farmers were kings, the economy thrived on agriculture, and the country exported food worldwide. Today, food inflation has soared above 50% in some states, and many Nigerians struggle to afford basic meals. Hunger has become a daily reality. How did a country once so rich in agricultural wealth end up in this crisis? Between 1961 and the early 1970s, agriculture accounted for over 40% of Nigeria's national revenue. The western region thrived on cocoa plantations, symbolized by Cocoa House in Ibadan. In the north, the groundnut pyramid stood tall as a testament to economic prosperity. The Middle Belt was revered as Nigeria's food basket, and the South had a booming fishing industry. Nigeria was the world's largest producer of cassava and yam, the second largest producer of sorghum, and a global leader in palm oil and cocoa production. The nation had enough food to feed itself and still export large quantities. But then, everything changed. The oil boom brought immense wealth, but it also led to the neglect of agriculture. The turning point came when Nigeria discovered oil. With the newfound petrodollar wealth, agriculture was abandoned, and the country shifted its focus entirely to crude oil. Military leaders and politicians, blinded by oil revenues, neglected the agricultural sector. A former head of state even boasted that Nigeria's problem was not money, but how to spend it. Farmers left the fields and flocked to urban centers, chasing government contracts and oil-related jobs. The groundnut pyramids disappeared, cocoa plantations withered, and the country's once thriving food production system began to collapse. Yet, as oil wealth soared, something darker was brewing. Nigeria had become dangerously dependent on food imports. Decades of food insecurity have plagued Nigeria, a country rich in resources yet struggling to feed its population. This persistent issue has roots tracing back to historical missteps and policy failures. By the 1980s, food shortages had become a national crisis. The government scrambled to revive agriculture, launching initiatives like Operation Feed the Nation and the Green Revolution. But corruption, mismanagement, and lack of continuity doomed these efforts to failure. The result? Worsening food insecurity, and a population left to grapple with the consequences. Decades later, successive governments continued to roll out ambitious agricultural policies, yet food insecurity only worsened. Even as Nigeria remained an agricultural giant in potential, its farms lay abandoned, and its people struggled to afford basic meals. By the 2000s, Nigeria's food crisis had deepened. Budget allocations to agriculture remained low, insecurity drove farmers off their lands, and climate change made farming even harder. Meanwhile, imported food flooded Nigerian markets, making the country dependent on foreign suppliers for survival. Efforts to revive agriculture in Nigeria are gaining momentum. Various initiatives are being implemented to rejuvenate this vital sector. In recent years, some states have stepped up efforts to bring agriculture back to life. In Lagos, a bold food security initiative is unfolding. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu's administration has introduced the Unja Eco initiative, offering a 25% food subsidy in 60 locations across the state. By July 2024, Lagos renamed its Ministry of Agriculture to the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Systems, signaling a shift towards structured, large-scale food production. The Fresh Food Hub initiative, launched in Mushin, became a pilot for affordable fresh food markets. At the heart of Lagos's agricultural transformation is a massive food logistics hub in Ketu Ejinrin designed to stabilize food supply and prices. The project, covering over 4.2 million square meters, will house cold storage facilities, processing plants, and a market for wholesale food distribution. This hub, modeled after Europe's largest food market in Rungis, France, aims to reduce food waste, lower costs, and ensure Lagosians have access to fresh, affordable food. As we look towards the future, food security remains a critical challenge for Nigeria. With a growing population and changing climate, sustainable agricultural practices will be essential. It's not just about producing more food, but ensuring that everyone has access to nutritious, affordable meals. Lagos is proving that large-scale, structured agriculture is possible in Nigeria. But will other states follow? The private sector is playing a key role, with companies like Origin Tech Group investing in mechanized farming, food storage, and distribution. However, the challenges remain. Climate change, insecurity, political instability, and lack of government commitment continue to threaten food security. Nigeria has the land, the climate, and the workforce to feed itself. The question now is whether its leaders will have the vision and determination to make it happen. The battle against hunger is not just about agriculture, it is about economic survival. No nation can thrive when its people go to bed hungry. Will Nigeria rise again as an agricultural powerhouse, or will it remain trapped in a cycle of food scarcity and rising costs? The answer will define the nation.